Alright, now that we're done with that, we can actually head on to the next level. You may notice quite obviously at this point that this is done post-commentary instead of live, simply because, well, let me tell you a story. This level, this next level coming up, level 8, the second last level in the game, took me 2 hours to finish. 2 hours to finish from beginning to end. I had to play through the level itself all the way through from beginning to end 3 times to get all the footage I needed to be able to show you guys. You may notice a lot of choppy editing throughout this playthrough. So to get to the next level, all you have to do is come back into this room where we were before. You can see there's a note door up there, but we can't reach it yet. So we have to go back through the tube with the eyes above it. I mentioned this before, is that basically anytime you see those eyes means that it's the entrance to a level, and this isn't any exception. So in here, we actually were in this room before at one point, but there wasn't anything we couldn't reach the entrance to the level itself or the way to open the level because the water level hadn't been raised. But since we did that in the last video, after finishing Mad Monster Mansion, we can do that now. So we have to actually head up this way. This is also one of the only levels that actually has enemies outside in the lobby before you even enter the level itself. There are some of these great monsters up here. We're going to be seeing a lot more of these to come. So, yeah. I mean, I take care of them relatively easily at this point, but, yeah. You also notice something else that happened just then? They took off 2 cells of health instead of 1. And in their first few appearances, they only took 1. All of a sudden now, they're taking away 2. That just makes this level that much harder. Now, over here is a switch that you can hit. This will raise the water level, just like the one near Mad Monster Mansion did. So, you want to make sure to hit that. Obviously, you're not going to be able to get to open the level without it. There's a Wonder Wing feather there. You can grab it if you need it. I don't, so I'm just going to move on. There's also up here another cauldron. The second turquoise, I suppose that's the color? Turquoise one. That allows us to warp to the area near Mad Monster Mansion and then warp from there directly here without having to swim through this area. Which isn't, I guess, that big of a deal, considering it's only like 2 or 3 rooms over, but if people are afraid of drowning, I suppose that's probably a better option than anything else. Alright, and then up here we have a honeycomb and this grate that you can smash. And this leads us to, well, a room with some power-ups, obviously, but also the puzzle for the 8th level, which I'm, for some reason, delaying picking up. Again, this is post-commentary, so I'm not sure exactly why I was doing what I was doing. Yep, the 8th level, Rusty Bucket Bay, widely regarded as the hardest level in this game, simply because of one Jiggy. And I'm going to be showing y'all that that is a misconception. It's a hard level in general. The one Jiggy is bad, yes, but the level itself is much harder. Now, I was thinking that this room was somehow linked to where the Mad Monster Mansion puzzle was, but that's actually incorrect. If you come out here again and follow this sort of area downward into the water, you can see that there is actually, at the end of this tunnel, a grate that leads to a familiar area. This is where the Mad Monster Mansion puzzle is. I pointed out this grate when we actually went to the Mad Monster puzzle, which was probably 4 videos ago or so. I don't remember if you can smash that grate or not, but either way, I guess it's neat that they kind of put them together, but otherwise it doesn't really serve purpose. It's not a good shortcut or anything like that, considering that you know, the cauldrons are much better and much faster. So yeah, after you finish that, you come out here, and all of a sudden, even though the entrance is underwater, the level is open, so we can go ahead and swim on in. Like I said, this is widely regarded as the hardest level in this game, and I'm going to let you on in a secret. This level is the main reason why I didn't want to LP this game. Because every time I thought about doing it, I thought of this level and said, forget it, I'm not going to do it. But I stuck it out, I ground through it, and we did it. So you may notice right here I go in with 89 eggs. Keep an eye on that count throughout this video. It's going to get down to the low 20s. This level taxes your egg count like no other level does. So you can see the little mechanic there that paying eggs to the toll machine causes the bridge to come out. This one is unique in that you can start with 2 and then put in 4 more to actually cause the bridge to move a little bit farther out, which then allows you to collect those power-ups. So that's kind of neat, but you only ever have to do this once unless you need Wonder Wing feathers to collect the Mumbo token. So after that, you're pretty much good, as long as you can kill that wall monster. So there are 2 ways to go immediately through, or 3 ways to go immediately through this level. 1 to the right, 1 to the left, and then 1 straight forward onto the Rusty Bucket itself. I'm going to save the Rusty Bucket for later because that's where the harder jiggies are in this level to get. And the easier ones and most of the easier collectibles are around the outside. Generally what you want to do is you want to start off going right, collect a couple of things here on the right, and then work your way to the left around the perimeter of the bay. Ooh. Dynamite boxes. Those guys are a bit annoying, but they only take off 1 health, so they look worse than they really are. Not that big of a deal. So there are 4 notes here on this grate that you want to come over here and collect before you do anything else. And then there's also one other thing in this area, which I don't collect now, but I do... Wait, do I collect it now? I don't remember. See, the thing is that I did look at a walkthrough for this level before I started the actual playing, but I couldn't remember the exact details of it, so... Yeah, kitty. So I do a lot of weird things like walking around in circles and stuff in this video because I'm trying to remember exactly where I need to go. I've only played through this level a couple of times, which is why I tried to use a walkthrough, but I kept remembering that they told you to go inside some of these warehouses, but you can only go in 2 of them, and this one is the only one that you can get in with any ease, so I was a little confused. Anyway, this room is, I wouldn't call it difficult, but it's kind of tricky if you don't know exactly what you're doing. It's also the easiest jiggy to get in this area. But the real prize here, the thing that's going to keep you coming back here, especially if you play this level more than once, is the fact that there are actually 4 notes in this area. Again, 2 health cells instead of 1. So that just makes these guys even more annoying. Look at that. I'm all the way down to 2 health, and now 1. So, and then I managed to kill him, take his 1, but now I'm still down to 2. And I don't want to try killing that fish, even though it's fairly easy. I don't want to risk it at this point, so I'm just going to hop across these boxes, which is a little bit harder than it looks because the camera's a little screwy, and then make my way to the left up there, because that's where the rest of the notes are, and guess what? I'm dead already. And then Grunty was talking there about something that we're going to want to make sure to remember, is that the water in this level, unlike the water that hurts you, like in Bubble Gloop Swamp or Freeze Easy Peak, the water in this level behaves much more like normal water, since it is deeper and it's deep enough for you to swim in it. But the water here actually drains your air faster while you're underwater, and it doesn't refill your air when you're on the surface. It's so nasty that Banjo has to hold his breath even when he's swimming on the surface of the water, and the only way for you to get your air back is to actually leave the water completely, either on a ladder or on a floating crate. And that is a very frustrating mechanic because, as you'll see, there are quite a few collectibles that they actually hid in the water, including the hardest jiggy to get in the game. So down here in this corner, we've got a Jinjo. That's one thing, is that this level is very geometric. The whole bay is shaped like a very large rectangle, and there are items and collectibles spread fairly evenly across the entire level. So you can basically work your way around, as I said, from right to left, all the way around the bay, and grab the collectibles as you go. So you can see in that corner we wanted to collect the 4 notes and the purple Jinjo. And then to get out of the bay, you actually have to find a ladder to climb up out of the goop and back up onto the shore. That's the one thing about this level that really frustrated me more than anything else, is just the amount of swimming and backtracking that you have to do. Because every time you die or fall in the water, well, no, every time you fall in the water, not every time you die, but every time you fall in the water, like for instance off of the boat or whatever, you have to swim all the way around to find a ladder and climb out again. I think there are only 3 ladders in the entire bay. One on the side that I'm on, one at the far side, straight ahead from me there, and then one on the other side of the boat. Let me think. Starboard side? I believe starboard is right, correct? I don't remember. Yes, so we have to go back into this warehouse again to try to collect those 4 notes that I missed. Fortunately, we don't have to get the Jiggy. I'm just double checking to make sure that there isn't anything else in here that's valuable, and you can see, oh, 4 notes. Ugh. Better make sure I get those. Sorry about the yawn. And, you know, I don't want to... I've realized just how dangerous these guys are since they take away 2 health cells, because unless you kill them right away and you let them hit you a couple of times, you're in trouble, even if you do have all the honeycomb pieces in the game up to this point. Because taking away 2 health cells at a time is a considerable amount of damage when, you know, it's not like an RPG or anything like that. I'm not exactly sure what I was doing there. I was going up the wrong way. Oh no, I remember what I was doing, because I remember reading in the walkthrough that there was a Jinjo inside one of these warehouses, and I thought it was this one, but it's actually not. It's a different one that we'll see a little bit later. And then that's a tricky jump to make, because you have to jump from the absolute edge of that box, and then do your flutter jump across the water and reach the box. Hey kitty, how you doing? My cat's curious because she's wondering who I'm talking to. I'm talking to you too, kitty, okay? So yeah, you can see I try to make that jump a couple of times and I fail it every time. And then I can't even make it onto the first box, and then I end up diving under the water, and then since I'm up against the side, I can't see, and then I go under again, and I'm trying to go up, and I can't go down, and I'm up, and I'm down, and I'm... Luckily, all you lose is water, or air, so it's not that big of a deal. Kitty, get down. But, yeah. It's a frustrating, far more frustrating than it should be because the camera is at such an awkward angle. The fish only takes 1 health cell away from you, and then just like Snacker, he kind of loses interest after he bites you once and swims away. Oh, and speaking of Snacker, he's back in this level. I have no idea how he managed to swim in such polluted water, but he is back. He doesn't have any dialogue, but you'll be seeing him later. I think he pops up a couple of times. I don't remember exactly which appearances of his I've edited out and which I've left in. Because that's the thing. I have 2 hours of Rusty Bucket Bay footage on my hard drive. I edited it down to about an hour and 10 minutes or so, and I'm going to be using that to record this audio over, and then if necessary, I'll continue editing it down to make it fit better into episodes if I decide something's not worth keeping. Because this is the first time I'm watching the edited footage all the way through, aside from just, you know, cutting out stuff. So we'll see how well this works out. To leave the area, you actually have to dive. You have to actually go through that door there. And then over here, there's a hole in the fence. You want to swim through or just fall in from the side. And there's Snacker. Again, he's not that different from the fish, aside from the fact that he spawns, unlike the fish who's always there. So no matter where you are in the water, he'll always spawn close to you. And I tried to I can't remember what that... Beak Buster him, but I missed because he had started disappearing. So I honestly don't know if you can or not. Anyway, you notice that the yellow Jinjo's in that corner, just like the purple one was in the other corner, or relatively close to the other corner. 4 of the 5 Jinjos are in the 4 corners of this map, and the other one is hidden in the warehouse that I mentioned before. So, yeah. This is the other warehouse that you can actually get inside, and I was remembering that you can, but I couldn't remember how. So I kind of, you know, screw around with it a little bit, and then I'll wind up figuring out how to do it later, but not on this life, I don't think. I think I actually die and then I do it later, but we'll see. Kitty, get down! Anyway, yeah, there's this whole level is going to be very tedious, even with all the editing that I did. I do want to show as much of it off of it as I can, just to show you guys how tedious it actually is. Because this level, it's... Even before you get to the hardest Jiggy in the game, this level isn't easy. Since, you know, going in the water hurts your oxygen meter so much. There are a lot of little narrow platforms that you have to traverse. There's a lot of backtracking and going through redundant areas that you have to do, because this level isn't big by any means, and they compensated for the fact that it's small by making it so that you have to go through the same part of the level over and over again. This entire level is basically one massive room with a bunch of little rooms off of it. And having to go over the same areas again and again and again gets very monotonous and very, very, very frustrating rather quickly. So, yeah. It gets to the point where you have all the locations of all the notes and stuff memorized, and then just kind of speedrun the level as best you can every time you go through it. Kitty!